Alright, welcome back to the Electrical Wolf channel, and today we're going to be discussing a little bit more into the different types of hand tools that we're going to be utilizing in the different types of construction industry and any other type of work environment that we're going to be able to have. Now these are just going to be the main generalized hand tools that you normally use, like we talked about in the introduction, but today we're going to get a little bit more into what each type of hand tool is and a little bit more into the categories. Today we're going to be discussing hammers, demolition tools, and screwdrivers. So stay tuned. Alright, first off, and we're going to be talking about the hammers, and what's going to be commonly used to remove nails and everything is going to be the curved claw hammer. Now this also comes in a straight claw hammer that many electricians like to use today, but the curved claw hammer serves two purposes. It allows people to drive in nails, and also gives them the back side in order to remove the nails if need be. This also is going to be used as a prying tool to kind of help move things apart. Now these hammers is what everybody visualizes as whenever someone says something about a hammer. Curved claw hammer is going to be used in different types of trades like carpentry, electrical, plumbing, just as a main tool that people are going to use in order to secure things. The next tool we're going to be talking about is a ball peen hammer. Ball peen hammers are going to be used in order to shape metal. They're going to be used by machinists and allows us to do certain things that the curved claw hammer can't do. And it's going to be mainly in order to shape the metal that we need it to be shaped into. And then next it's going to be sledgehammers. Sledgehammers is what you use in order to drive large stakes into the ground. It's what you need when you need a little bit more force applied. It comes in a short handle and a long handle, but the weight is going to be at the end. Just like any other hammer, you're not going to try to muscle it yourself. You're going to use the weight of the head in order to do the majority of the work. Next, we have mallets. Mallets, what we normally use is rubber mallets, and that's what allows us to be able to use things to get them into place without actually damaging them. Alright, now moving along, we're going to be getting into the demolition tools. Now, these tools are called demolition because it allows you to take certain things apart. First off, we have a flat bar. A flat bar gets its name by its shape. Now, if you look in the video above, you'll be able to see exactly how you could utilize the flat bar. The flat bar normally has two different ends. One is a curved and one is straight flat in order to be able to get into certain things, but it also comes with a unique feature where it has a little slot toward the end of the flat side where you can actually slide it into a nail head in order to use a leverage to pick it up. Next thing we have is a crowbar. People also refer to it as a wrecking bar, and this is going to either come in several different lengths, but normal size is going to be in between the 2-foot length all the way up to a 4-foot length. Now the length gives you a little bit more leverage depending on what size you use. Next off we have the cat's paw. The cat's paw has a handle with a simple prying mechanism at the end of it that it looks like the shape of a cat's paw. Now that's where it gets its name. You will come to understand that a lot of these different hand tools get their names based off either one, what they look like, their functionality, and also the company they're made. And the cat's paw falls into that category because it honestly looks like a little cat's paw that when you slide underneath the nail, that's how you pull it out. Now moving along, we're going to get into the next category, screwdrivers. Now whenever people think about screwdrivers, they're normally thinking about one of two different types, and that's either a Phillips head or a flathead. Now the Phillips head on one end comes in several different sizes. Now we have to understand that it's like a number 2, a number 1. It's either going to be a larger size Phillips head or smaller size Phillips head. If you start talking about a little bit more intricate types of Phillips heads, you also have a Reed and Prince type of Phillips head where it gets narrow at the end. And when we talk about screwdrivers, the thing that we have to understand is that each different type of screwdriver have different types of sizes, and you must use that type of size so you do not strip the screw out. Now there's a correct size for every screw, and there's a correct way that you need to use them. Alright, next we're going to talk about the flathead. It's also known as a slot head. Now this is going to be a screwdriver that's going to be used in those flat screws, or what people will call the slot head screws. Now, like I said, it comes in several different sizes, like the Phillips head, but these are going to be the two main different types of screwdrivers that people in construction or industry work with, is the Phillips and flat. Now, a little bit more uncommon, but still is utilized pretty heavily, is the Squarehead, also known as the Robinson. Now, this is where it gets its name, is that it actually looks like a square at the end of it. Now, this is going to be allowed for a little bit more torque than you can with a Phillips head or flat head, and depending on what type of metal the screw head is, it can allow for a little bit less rounding out of the bit. Now, we're moving along. We're going to get to something that's a little bit stronger, and a lot of people actually recommend a little bit higher than the torque head, is the Allen heads. Now, the Allen head screws are a little bit more specialty type of screws, but it's also going to be used for bolts and everything. Now, the Allen heads, or hex heads as it's also referred to, allows you to be able to put a little bit more torque than you can a flathead, Phillips head, or slot head. So as we keep moving down, you will see a little bit more stronger types of torque that can be applied and pressurized. The last that we're going to be talking about is the torque head. The torque head is also known as the star head, and it is what's going to be utilized for a lot of decking purposes. Now, people utilize these screws because it holds so well, and you're allowed to be able to put so much more pressure on it than you can the slot head, Phillips head, flat head, the Robinson head, or the Allen keys or Allen head. And so the torque head, it also comes in several different sizes, just like you see in all the other different types of screwdrivers. And so being able to utilize it in its max efficiency is actually matching the head to the screw. And one of the most common sizes that's going to be used in the construction industry, that's used for decking purposes, is the T25. And that's what I always use whenever I'm putting down decking. And last but not least, it's also going to be a nut driver. Now, a lot of people try to recommend these to be geared toward the wrench side of it because it has to do with nuts and bolts. But as you will see, the nut driver also comes in like a screwdriver form. And these allow a lot of electricians and industrial maintenance personnel to utilize just a small hand tool in order to reach somewhere that they can quickly turn, rather than having to go grab a wrench or some type of a ratchet or anything else like this. So this is going to conclude this part of the hand tools. Just try to get yourself familiarized with them. And the thing is, I can only introduce them to you, but until you get your hands on it and actually start learning how to utilize them for yourself, that's when you start being able to become more proficient with utilizing these tools. But thank you for checking me out. I ask that you please just like this video, comment on any other different types of screwdrivers or anything else that you might use that wasn't covered. Now, I just want you to remember, this is just a generalized view of some of the most common types of hand tools that we utilize. But thank you again. I ask that you please subscribe to this and help me make this channel grow. Until I see you